What's up, everybody? It's Richard here from Airis Effects. I'm throwing together this little video because this is already the second attempt today. When I got 2 minutes in, my phone was apparently full of storage. So, as you can see, it's been a little tricky to just film something so simple and stupid. Anyway, we're gonna in this video talk about the Lindworm and Wyvern power amps, go over their features, a little bit more explanation on the Wyvern on what dual channel means. I'll get into that later. We're also going to very briefly look at the Dark Force high gain preamp, which the A is spelled with a 4. You guys can figure it out, I'm sure. But part of that preamp and some of its differences between that and the 51 Filthy is the tone stack is actually right after the first gain stage rather than at the end of it. Like most high gains circuits that you listen to, 5150, rectifier, SLO, all that jazz, any Marshall. Sorry, I take that back. Not any Marshall before those people chime in. So on top of that, though, before some other technical difficulty comes up, the big announcement, if anyone has been following the page or listening to me talk about it for the last 2 or 3 years plus, I am today putting a deposit on the UV printer for Airis Effects. So I will finally be getting my own UV printer. This will simplify a lot for me. It's cost prohibitive to have to do minimums on certain things as well as have them shipped internationally. With things that are chaotic in the economy and world in general right now. I'm gonna be able to. I'm gonna be back to be able to offer one-off customs and even just like tweaked graphics, extra little tidbits on it. Something that is gonna be like a $10 upgrade rather than like I have to charge an arm and a leg for it. Because when I get just one enclosure printed now, it ends up costing me about $80 extra per pedal. And that's just ridiculous. I could change one dot on the graphic, and because it's just one being printed, it's $80 more. So this will definitely change things for that. There'll be very little to no blank beta pedals going out anymore because it'll just be that much easier for me to just print something off instead of having people message me 5, 6, 7 years later, hey, do you remember what these controls are? The answer is no. If it starts with do you remember and it didn't happen in the last 6 months, it's probably a no. Just being realistic here. So anyway, we're gonna cut out to a different screen here, and I'll do a quick little rundown of the controls on both the Lindworm and the Wyvern. And some very super basic tones, I guess. I have an SM57 on my cab, just purposely placed right on the edge of the cap and the cone. Not because it's the best spot, but just because anyone can replicate that exact spot. So this is zero pissing around, just plug in and go kind of thing. So yeah, here we go. are back. I'm sure the very first question is going to be, why does it say no adapter all over it? It's because all the under 100 watt builds, I have them wired to be able to use pedal power supply, and these ones are backwards in polarity. So the first time I plugged it in, I almost burnt it up into pieces. So the final ones won't obviously say that, and they'll come with the right adapter that you either use it or you blow it up, essentially. So what you heard was the Wyvern dual channel power amp. Now it's got the same basic controls as the Lindworm, except it's 100 watts instead of 60, and you'll notice in the picture there's a toggle of the Lindworm. Well, that's that toggle. So what that does is it shifts the mid-frequency sweep. We have a shape control, which is basically, it's what sweeps the mids, and then the mid plus and minus. So this is actually helping dial in your mid tone going into the power amp. The one setting is a low mids. It gives you a 400 to 800 hertz sweep, which you can use to either warm up an amp that's really scooped in the mids, or you can cut out some of that cardboardy, honky, kind of unpleasant mids in ones that have a little bit too much of it. So with the two channels, you're actually switching between these two different pedals. So you have one single input and then two sets of ins and outs to switch between it. So you can leave your preamps on, set up exactly how you want it, and there are two independent volume controls per one per channel on the Wyvern. So you can actually have it set with a little bit more control, like let's say the volume is too touchy between 3/4 and half or something on here. Well, you can find your sweet spot on here and then tailor it a little bit more on here. Or you could have it set that one is way louder because it's a lead tone, or you know, whatever implementation you're going for. The difference between this one's mid frequencies and the Lindworm is that your blue channel is going to have the low mid sweep, and the red channel on this one is going to be the same as the other setting on the toggle, and it is a more of a higher mid sweep. It goes from 1400 to 2500 hertz, so it's going to give you that more upper mid crunch. Or you could tame it off if you're using like one of these as a clean preamp for your clean channel. You could dial it back a little bit in that range and do like a smoother, warmer kind of thing. But essentially, you've got two slightly different voicings, so you can pick and choose which pedal is going to run into it. One is going to sound better on one channel than the other, or if you leave your mid controls here right dead noon, that's going to actually turn them off. It's not doing any cutting or boosting of the mid frequencies, so everything else is the exact same. So you can have two totally different tones. You could even say have two 51 filthies, for example, and have them set, one for lead, one for rhythm, or whatever you want, right? One thing that I've added to this is the single input switch. So it's under here on this one. I'm gonna ideally change it so it's up on the top side, but basically you flip that switch and then you can plug in just one preamp pedal to it, and your channel switch is still going to give you your two separate controls. For the final version as well, these volumes are going to be over here, and there will also be regulated 9-volt outputs on the power amp itself, so you're going to be able to plug in your pedals with the ins and outs as well as the power all directly to it, so that you don't have a mess of wires going everywhere, ideally. It'll be the same on the Lindworm. The Lindworm has just one DC out on it. They're all regulated. They're not isolated or filtered, so there is potential for noise, but as far as simplicity's sake, it's everything you're going to need is right there. So moving on with this a little bit, the resonance control, I've fine-tuned it. Others might know it as depth. I think it's like a US UK kind of thing on which you call it, but it's the exact same thing. So the resonance, I fine-tuned it that even at full, it's not going to be too overwhelming. And what I've found is that at lower volumes, it actually helps bring out a lot of that speaker resonance that you get from cranking up an amp, and the actual interaction between the amp and the speakers when they start moving, right? You crank that up at low volumes, and then you get a lot of that feel, as they like to call it, of when you're playing a loud amp. The presence control is both an active EQ and a passive treble bleed at the same time. So it's another one that I've fine-tuned the high and low end of the dial so that it doesn't get too crazy on either end, just to simplify dialing it in, eliminate some of the bad tones that it can do. So I think that about covers it. Any more questions, just hit me up in the comments. I guess obvious questions are going to be, what's this one? And this is the one I had mentioned earlier, the Dark Force. It's being kind of noisy on me right now because it's just like slapped together. Oh, there's some hairballs in there right now. So it's to be expected. I've kind of beat it up a little bit and put it through the torture tests, as they say. But it's going to be coming fairly soon, especially with that announcement that I made earlier in this video about the UV printer. That's going to be what changes things on how long it takes for stuff to come out, because right now the enclosures are my biggest bottleneck, basically, because between the cost prohibitiveness of them, I think that's the word, and just the minimum 5 to 6 week wait, there's a lot of stuff that sometimes you want it right now, or you need it right now. I know need is a strong word, but there's certain things that you want to get in a timely fashion, and 2 months away minimum is really not what most consider timely. So this will change a lot as far as turnaround, and also open up a lot of custom shop options that are pedals that I did in the past, but just aren't worth it to keep on the shelf, right? If I can't get rid of 25 of them, they're not worth doing. So well, I guess that's about it. Before I start umming and hawing even more, I gotta head out shortly and pick up some more equipment and get things rolling, so you guys can get to have these in your hands and hear them in person soon enough. So anyway, that's it for now, and my phone has just frozen and told me I've run out of storage again. So until next time, stay metal.